Hi, this is part 3 for my Irelia guide. Part 1 included skills and skill sequence, part 2 included runes, masteries, and summoner spells, and part 3, which is this part, will deal with items. This is my core item build for Irelia. I get Marguerite Treads, Wriggles, Wit's End, Frozen Mallet, Thornmail, and Madred's Blood Razor. And why did I choose these items? This is because this build will apply to almost every situation. It gives you protection and damage against every type of hero. Like for mages, I have Marguerite Treads and Wit's End for magic resist and tenacity. So you can beat mages easily. And Frozen Mallet helps against everyone because it helps you slow them. Like 100% chance for 40% slow is a lot. And against 80 carries, Thornmail and then the armor you get from Wriggles and Madred's will protect you pretty well against them. For tanks, they won't do that much damage anyways, and you have some sustain to negate that damage, and you also have Madred's Blood Razor to deal even more damage to them, especially since that you build magic damage, true damage, and physical damage. So if they try to stack armor or magic resist, then you'll still be dealing damage to them either way. And against other off tanks, it's pretty much the same as tanks. You have your Blood Razor, and just in general, it's good against anyone. And the problem is that it's not great against anyone, but it covers pretty much all your bases, which makes this such a good core. For starting items, I have two main choices, either boots and 3 potions, or cloth armor and 5 potions. For cloth armor, I only get it against a physical hero, such as like Gameplank or Pantheon, where you need. For starting items, I usually use 2 choices, either boots and 3 potions, or cloth armor and 5 potions. The cloth armor and 5 potions are good against physical heroes, where you just have to tank and soak up their damage, such as Gameplank or Pantheon, because your hit and stat won't be enough to stop all the damage. You can also get a Dorn shield if you want to, but it doesn't provide as fast of regen as health pots do, and sometimes you'll need it. For boots, I get it against, if it's a physical hero that doesn't have that much harass, then you can get boots instead. Or if it's a magical hero, usually I get boots as well. And another thing to mention as a starting item is Regrowth Pendant. If you're a newer Irelia, then it's not a bad choice, but it's not good against most heroes. But like I said, if you're new, then you might want to get a Regrowth and a pot, and then upgrade it to a Philosopher's Stone for some gold per 5. And you should only get this if you aren't that good at last hitting yet, or if you're not that comfortable with Irelia, because getting regrowth instead of these items will make your 1v1 worse. Now I'm going to cover boots. For boots, you have 2 main choices, Marguerite Treads or Ninja Tabby. I prefer Marguerite Treads as a primary choice because it synergizes with your Ionian Fervor, and it stacks multiplicatively to give you 41.5, 51, and 61% cooldown, CC reduction, and this helps a lot, especially if you manage to get that 61% reduction in team fights, so it allows you to stick on heroes much easier. And Ninja Tabby, this is a early game item because it's so cheap, and it's a great item against physical heroes. So if you're having a bit of trouble against your physical lane, then you can rush a Ninja Tabby and you should be fine. And as I said before, Marguerite Treads is a better choice later on, so you can get this first, but eventually you're going to want to sell this for Marguerite Treads in pretty much all games. For early game, this is going to be your items that you're going to want to get. Against physical heroes, Wriggles is your primary choice because it's so cost efficient. And only is it cost efficient, it gives you free wards, and it gives you 1 ward every 3 minutes, and that amounts to about 4.1 gold per 10 seconds. Compare this to a 5 gold per 10 item that aren't as useful, like Philosopher's Stone and Heart of Gold, and this item is such a great item for 1v1 situations against a physical hero. Against a magical hero and against physical heroes, but you don't want to rush this against physical heroes. But against magical heroes, this is a great item because it gives magic resist and damage against those people, and it gives you attack speed too, which gives you sustain as well. As for Phage, this is going to be what you're going to upgrade into Frozen Mallet later on, but for right now, Phage is nice and easy to build, and it's effective as well, but not as effective as a Frozen Mallet, but it does its job for right now. And this you can get against magical and physical heroes, but sometimes you want to get it sooner against magical heroes or against ranged heroes so you can stay on them better. These two items are going to be your mid to late game items. A Frozen Mallet is just a great item. It gives you a 100% chance for 40% slow, and your Blade Surge procs it too, so it makes it incredibly hard for people to escape you, especially with your Equilibrium Strike as well. It also makes you tanky, which is very important for you because you don't have that much health with this build, and this provides it. As for Thornmail, it's great against AD carries, and that's what you get it for, because your main worry is going to be AD carries. Like every time that I die, I see like Ashe or Tristana deals like 1500 damage to me, while everyone else did like 500, 400 or something. So AD carries are going to be your main problem, and Thornmail will protect you a bit against them and try to make them want to attack something else other than you, because if they attack you, then they'll suffer as well. Okay, now I'm going to include a section about why I chose Frozen Mallet and Thornmail, because I know that a lot of people might disagree with me, and if you don't want to listen to this, then you can just skip it, but here it goes. Okay, so why do I pick Frozen Mallet instead of Trinity Force? And first I'm going to say that I used to always build her with Trinity Force until I realized how much better Frozen Mallet is for her. And why is it? Because Frozen Mallet gives her much more health, 700 health versus only 250 health that Trinity Force gives. So it makes you much more tanky, which lets you live in team fights instead of just get focused and bursted down easily. And the second great thing about Frozen Mallet is a 100% chance for a 40% slow. And this is, you could say that this is more than 400% more effective than the slow for Trinity Force, because Trinity Force is only a 25% chance for a weaker slow, 35%. And so this is a toss-up. Like, if you're trying to jump on a 80 carry, and with Trinity Force, there's a 75% chance that you're not going to slow them. And if you don't slow them, then they can get away. And if they get away, then you don't kill them. And Frozen Mallet fixes this, because as I mentioned over here, I would rather hit a primary target once than hit a tank twice, which is very true. I'd rather hit Ashe twice than hit Malphite. Or I'd rather hit Ashe once than hit Malphite twice. And the extra effects that Trinity Force has, it has a 150% Sheen effect, and this has a cooldown, a 2-second cooldown, and it only deals base damage. So that means that any bonus to attack damage that you have isn't increased by this effect. And also gives you some crit, but you don't use crit that much, and gives you some AP, which is pretty much useless on you, and mana, which you don't need. And the good thing about it is it gives you some nice movement speed and attack speed, but this is at a price, and a lot of the price is built into the other effects, and that's why Frozen Mallet is 800 gold cheaper and still just as, and for a lot of cases, more effective. Yeah, so that's why I get Frozen Mallet instead of Trinity Force. Okay, now Thornmail versus Rainin's Omen versus Frozen Heart. And first of all, Frozen Heart, you're paying for mana and cooldown reduction, and that's a large part of the price, so you don't get as much defense out of it, which is why you're getting these items in the first place. So I'm not going to even include Frozen Heart in this discussion. As for Thornmail versus Rainin's Omen, the main reason why Thornmail is better is because it's 1,075 gold cheaper. It's 2,000 gold for Thornmail versus 3,075 gold for Rainin's Omen. And also for Rainin's Omen, even if you get a Heart of Gold first, that means that you're not getting that much use until you actually finish the item, versus Thornmail, which you can build a Chainmail as your first item, which is even cheaper and more effective than a Heart of Gold. And the passive is that it returns 30% of the damage taken on hit effects, and this includes basic attacks. So this means that if an AD carry tries to attack you, then they're going to be taking a lot of that damage back. And this is at least 15% if you count in magic reduction that the AD carry has. But 15% or more of the damage that they deal to you is going to be taken back by them. So they need lifesteal to not die from their own attacks, and if they take a lot of lifesteal, then they're sacrificing damage as well. So either way, the passive is great against AD carries, and that's the reason that you're going to get this. For Rainin's Omen, the passive is decent, but it's not much of a danger to carries. It just deters them a little bit. And the active is what's good about this, but it doesn't last that long. And again, it's not that much of a danger because it won't necessarily kill them, and you already have a 40% slow anyway, so the extra slow doesn't deal as, or doesn't have as much of an effect as it could. And so Madrid's Blood Razor is going to be your last late game item, other than upgrading Wriggles to anything that you wanted. And the reason I get this is because there's always going to be at least 2 to 3 heroes with about 3,000 HP, and this might include anyone, including some AP carries will get Irelia and Rod of Ages, and they'll have a bunch of HP as well for you to shred. And the reason I get this is because it will let you attack anyone and still be effective. So let's say you can't get to a squishy carry, then you can still attack a tank to get them off your carry, and this will just make you effective against anyone, which is the point of the core build. And also gives you some defense as well, and a bit of physical damage, so it just gives you some nice stats, and the passive is the main reason that you get this. Thanks for watching. This was part 3 for my Irelia guide, and it covered items. Part 1 covered skills, part 2 covered runes, masteries, and summoner spells. And I might post up a part 4 on laning, I'm not sure yet, but just check back and see if I do. And if you like this video, please thumbs it up. If you have any questions, or if you just want to say something, please leave a comment, and if you want to subscribe. Thanks.